Hi, and welcome back to From the Ground Up. Today, we're going to be looking at product development and product testing. Now, as you know, I'm creating a skincare brand, and my key aims for the skincare brand is to create some products that are nature inspired, that help to empower women to feel more confident in their own skin, to simplify the process of those long and convoluted skincare routines that some people purport to using on Instagram and the like, and really to take people on a journey to having something that is simple but effective. I really want products that work, and I really want products that have natural ingredients that when you read the label, you understand what is in the product, okay? Those are some key things that are really important to me, and those for me are the foundations of the brand and the mission. In addition to that, of course, I have a financial target, a target that I want to achieve that for me would illustrate that the business has had a successful relaunch. And that is to get it to 6 figures in 6 months. Now, as you know, or if you don't know, I, in previous videos, have broken down what that means in terms of the math. But essentially, what we're looking at is selling 23 products per day. And in order to sell 23 products per day, we need to be happy with the product. We need to know that the product works and that it fits. And of course, I have now gone on the journey to speaking to various factories and manufacturers and having conversations with them about the brand that I want to create. And through that journey, I think it's important to get samples and to try different products. So I went through a stage at one point where I was trying multiple samples from multiple providers. I was having like one on one half of my face, on the other half, risky proposition, I admit. But I needed to know that it was a product that worked for me and that I was willing to try on myself and that I had seen some significant change. Now, you might think, Bianca, why don't you just try each product for 4 weeks? Rather than trying half on each side of your face. That would have been an option. However, in my mind, I wanted to expedite the process. So if I couldn't see any change in by doing that process, then of course, maybe that's not the product for me. And there were 2 main manufacturers that I was choosing between. So it was easy to be able to do that kind of split testing process. Anyway, so I went through that testing process and I realized I really liked a particular set of products that I had created with the manufacturer. I had made some tweaks to it, made some changes. I loved that they'd gone through testing and so on. And I was really happy with those products. And so I decided that I wanted to then start thinking about what it looks like as a brand. And so I asked for them to send me, I ordered some of the minimum order quantity, and I got some stock sent to me. So this is what you see here. Now, these are just empty bottles, right? But this was part of the branding process, is choosing the bottles. What packaging do you want your product to go in? Now, I've spoken about before the importance of choosing packaging that looks good quality, that aligns with your brand proposition, but of course is not so expensive that people are paying more for the packaging than they're actually paying for the quality of the quantity of the products inside. Okay, so that's a happy medium that you want to be able to strike. And so here we are. These are the 3 different bottles that I've chosen. So this is for the facial wash, this is for the serum product, and this is for the moisturizing product. Now, when you're going through this journey, of course, you are choosing the products and you're choosing the ingredients and the product that goes inside the packaging. But you also then need to start thinking about, how am I going to test this? Who am I going to test this on? Now, this goes back to what I said about the importance of building a strong partnership, a strong success board, about having a strong network, about having the right people around you. And I'm lucky enough to have some of the right people around me. So I've got some friends and family who I called upon to do some testing. Okay, they were willing participants. They were very kind and gracious to say yes, they'll be willing to test the products and give me some really clear feedback about what they liked, what they didn't like, and so on. And so the thing about moving your business on and speed to market is it's important to be able to go through that process of choosing the product, choosing the packaging, and then doing the testing. But of course, you might not yet have done the branding, right? That's realistic, because you're thinking, okay, well, Bianca's only been a couple of weeks. How have you done all of this in this short period of time? Well, I haven't been able to choose the branding, but I wanted to go through the testing phase. So what I did was I looked at my couple of key products. I then said, okay, well, let me get some temporary labeling. So I got some temporary labels made up that would enable me to now go through testing with my friends and family. So I got just some basic labels put on them with the Bianca Miller London logo. And of course, all the instructions on the back. It talks about the product because of course you want your friends and family who are testing it to have faith that you're giving them something great. So it has on there the fact that it's cruelty-free, vegan, paraben-free, and all that other good stuff. Now, the reason I say this is because sometimes people will be held back from going through testing because they don't have the branding yet. And branding can take a few weeks, or it can take maybe a month and a half, I would say. About 6 weeks, 8 weeks branding could really take. And so you don't want to hold you back and stop you because you haven't got your branding yet. So for me, it was about, okay, well, how do I get to this testing phase? So I got these temporary labels, and then I've sent this out to my friends and family. Now, I sent this out to them with really clear instruction. So from the outset, I said, look, I'm starting a new brand. Would you be willing to test it? What I would require from you is to take pictures or videos every 7 days. And I need from you feedback on what you like and dislike about the products, but I also want to see how your skin is affected by the products over a period of a minimum of 30 days. So I think it's really important to be prescriptive about what you expect from them so that they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to be a part of that testing phase. So anyway, gave this to my friends and family. And of course, when you look at the products, as I said earlier, for me, it's really important that it's nature inspired and so on. And there's so many great things in these products. So you can see here and just, you can just read it straight away. You recognize what the products are. And so it's so important that you're thinking about what is in the bottle. What is my customer going to read? So coconut oil, argan oil, lavender, marine collagen, all really good products that people can understand. And that's important for me, for my customer. So along this journey, I've given it to my friends and family, and they've been giving me some feedback, and the feedback has been incredible, like incredible. Now, when I first set out to create this brand, for me, it was about dealing with issues that you might have had, hormonal-based skincare issues or issues with scarring or spots or acne. But actually, by creating a serum that has some stem cell regenerative active ingredients, has meant that the skin has been replenishing and it's been helping people with things like fine lines and wrinkles. Of course, having the marine collagen in the cream, again, has helped with those fine lines and wrinkles. These were not things that I was planning to work on. I wasn't planning to help with anti-aging, but by having those ingredients in the bottle, not only has it helped with surface-led problems, with pigmentation, but also with wrinkles and alike. So it's kind of had an added bonus. So the feedback so far has been incredible. I've had videos, I've had voice notes, I've had pictures saying, Bianca, oh my gosh, look at my skin. It feels so much better. It feels so much more supple and moisturized, and my wrinkles are disappearing, and my scarring is gone, and I'm so confident now I can go out without makeup on. Like the feedback has been incredible, even more than I had ever anticipated, right? And friends of mine are like, I don't know how much this product's going to be, Bianca, but I'm going to have to subscribe, which of course is how you want your customers to react. My poor friends are like, oh no, what has Bianca got me into? But one of the key things that a few of them have said is, Bianca, actually, this 3-step process has replaced the 10, 12, 15 different products I had from other brands, or the 8 different products I had. And of course, maybe not using them all at the same time, but 8 different key products. They're now just using 3. So I've basically conquered what I set out to do, an effective but simple process. And that, of course, is what I wanted from the outset. So this is a really important step to take to really get in that consumer testing, to get that feedback, to see what people think and feel about the product and how they think and feel about the bottles. Now, as part of the journey to building the brand and product development, of course, you want to be thinking about pricing. And so pricing is something that's very important to me. And I've spoken about before the importance of pricing it in a way that isn't going to, that is going to be accessible to most people. Not all people, but most people. But of course, You also want to think about how it feels. What is that experience like? And so now, of course, I've got the bottle-based packaging. I now need to think about the boxes. Do I want it to be in a box? Do I want the box to be cellophane wrapped? And all of those key things for the brand experience. So I'm, of course, going through that stage right now. So the next steps for me is to engage a branding expert on Fiverr to join my expert team who's going to be able to help me with the branding. What will the labels look like in its final iteration? What will the boxes look like? What will be the brand experience? And then, second to that, getting someone who can help me with product imagery and animation, so that I have the right images and so on to go on the website. So that for me is the next, obviously, natural stage. Of course, the website is important too, so finding my web designer, but getting that branding done so that I can be confident that the product looks like how I want it to look. So that is the journey so far. And I think it's really important to get those product testing information in, because if, for example, and look, my friends and family who have tested it on are differing ages, different skincare needs. Some of them are, have some wrinkles, some of them do not. Some of them have skin where they have dry patches and they've seen those dry patches removed. Some of them have had issues with pigmentation and they've seen their skin, their pigmentation change, and they actually have skin that looks a lot better, a lot brighter. They're having this transition to their skin being nice and glowy. All of this feedback is incredible. But of course, if there had been negative feedback, then I would have had to think about that. And there's one thing that has stood out. One person in particular has said they really miss their facial scrub, right? I'm not a big believer in scrubs, not very good for the skin. They cause micro tears. Yeah, but anyway, that's a different story for another day. But that information, that feedback has led me to looking into a liquid-based exfoliant that maybe they can use every now and again. So again, that's where you start building your product line. You start thinking about your product development. You start thinking about the future and the evolution of the brand, which of course is important. And that is what feedback is for. So that is the journey to product development and testing. Test it for yourself, get your friends and family to test it too. So let me give you a bit of a checklist from this video. So here is the checklist from this episode. I want you to purchase some samples for you to test. It's really important you test it first. I want you to be confident about your own brand. Then you want to agree a low minimum order quantity for those samples to do consumer testing amongst friends and family. Make sure you hand select the friends and family that you know are A, going to test it and follow your rules and understand what you need them to do. B, are going to be honest. They're going to give you that honest feedback. Whether you like it or not, they're going to give you that honesty. Number 3, create those temporary labels or go unbranded to enable you to go through the testing. Don't let the fact that you don't have branding stop you from going through that testing process. It's so important and it's going to be pivotal to your success. Be prescriptive about the testing process you want them to follow. Be very clear about what you want them to do step by step so it's super clear. Utilize that feedback for future marketing plans. So some of my friends have given me permission to use their pictures, their weekly pictures, their videos. Some of them have not, and that's fine. But at least that feedback you could potentially use as future marketing material. Start thinking about what you want that brand experience to be. How do you want the customer to feel? What do you want them to do when they get the box? Is there any instructions on the box? How do you want them to feel like it's a luxury product, like they've gone through an experience and so on? Now, as I've said before, when you're thinking about testing, you want to test it with your key consumer, the type of market that you plan to sell it in. But with that said, I have had a few people testing it who are not my key market demographic, my key niche. For example, my husband has been testing it because he has super sensitive skin. He's allergic to nearly everything. So testing it on him was obviously a great way to see if it would work for people who are allergic to lots of things. So you may want to choose people slightly outside of your niche environment. Also, I've had my mum and her friend test it. They're ahead of the age demographic that I'm particularly targeting. But of course, I want to see how it works with their skin, with menopausal skin, with all those other types of skin types. So I can really understand what it will be like for my market as a whole. Because although we might be targeting a niche demographic, of course, you're hoping that niche demographic will tell their mum, will tell their partner and so on, and will spread the good news for you on your behalf. So that is it. That is the checklist for this week's episode. I want to thank you again for joining me on this series of From the Ground Up, developing a brand new business. I am on a journey. I'm creating a brand new business from scratch, and I'm excited to be on the journey with you and to be on the journey building my winning team. And of course, you want to think about building your winning team. So who would you need on your side to help you with branding? Even if it's branding those temporary labels or looking at your final brand identity. Make sure you have a look on Fiverr and see who you might want to earmark as a potential person to join your team. And of course, message them, get a meeting in. Have a conversation. It's so important. They understand your vision and you understand how they work. I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for listening. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, to share.